Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often billed as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab your Stardust, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 6, Fated Throne, chapters 11 through 20, where Darcy and the heirs finally free Tory's phoenix, and Max makes a great sacrifice to ensure her well-being, while Lionel continues to turn Fae against Fae with his orderist regime.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy world books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. So sorry in advance. Like the books, this podcast is rated R, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
All right, so last we saw everyone, Darcy, the heirs, the ass, and Gabriel were all looking for a way to save Tory from Lionel's clutches, while Lionel, on the other hand, has declared himself king. Orion finally cracked his father's journal, only to be removed from Darkmoor and placed under guard at the palace in Lionel's loving hands. Darius arrives at the palace after being summoned yet again, and he manages to overhear a conversation in Lionel's office between Stella and Diego's family.
So at this point, Diego, rest in peace, has passed. Why are they not freaking out about it? It makes me sad. Like, I know that maybe that happened off scene, somewhere else in the book, maybe, possibly, hopefully.
I don't think his family cared about him one bit.
I don't either.
He was a tool to be used.
And a crappy tool at that. From his family's point of view, not mine. Not mine.
I mean, fair, but also it just seems that they would at least acknowledge somewhere that he's gone. So sad.
And in this conversation, they're talking about the nymphs need people to kill. And Lionel's like, well, I told them you were safe. How can I let you kill them?
And that was one point I think that was kind of confusing. And I think, Lily, for you as well, because in a way it sounded like nymphs eat people.
Yeah, like both of us made a comment in the notes about, wait, do nymphs eat people? Like, what am I not understanding here?
Yeah, she just uses a weird term. They say that they're starved, and I think, I could be wrong, I think it's starved for power, but I don't know. Maybe they need the power to survive. It's not really clear.
It did make me think of, it's not a direct like comparison, but it did make me think of the squibs in Harry Potter, because it's like they're the part of the magical world that is like underrepresented and they don't have a lot of magic and the entire society kind of looks down on them. But in Harry Potter, squibs are not like inherently evil. But I'm not sure yet that all of the nymphs are inherently evil either. I mean, we had Diego and he had issues, but I'm not entirely sure the entire populace are just like awful beings.
Yeah, couldn't it be they're under the control of Clara? That it's maybe, I don't know, like she took away their ability to make choices on their own?
Could be. I mean, she does control pretty much all the shadows. She is the Shadow Princess.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just got the image in my head of Scar from Lion King looking down over all of his hyena army.
I'm surrounded
like Clara
by
looking
idiots.
down on the nymphs.
Yes.
But I mean, that's really apt because as we kind of will see later, that scene where Scar is looking down on the like shadows of hyenas like marching is supposed to invoke Hitler. And later Lionel does some things that are kind of reminiscent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also see Stella being here super, super desperate.
Oh my God, it's so sad and disgusting.
It is.
Stella.
Oh.
Girl.
And I get that she thinks she's in love with him, but ew.
Have some self-respect.
Yeah.
Come on. God damn.
I don't think she has that ability anymore. I think she is.
No.
I don't know, but is she really into him or into his power?
That is a good question. Both?
Like if Darius just beat the crap out of him but left him alive and he's like power shamed or whatever, do you think she would stand by his side?
I do.
Or would she be like, Darius?
Ew.
Ew. Ew. But I can't see her doing that, so I feel like it's just him.
Lion.
I do think that she would stand by Lionel's side. She was his friend at Zodiac. I almost said in high school.
Close enough.
She was his friend at Zodiac, and she was in love with him when Lionel arranged her marriage to Azrael.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Ugh, wait, why do you think he arranged their marriage?
So he could still have access to her, maybe?
Ew.
Or is there something that Azrael had that he needed, and through her he could get it?
That's a good guess.
What?
Brittany looks like she's being tortured.
There was a reason.
There's got to be a reason.
Yeah.
The other thing that confused me about this scene, not to change subjects, but I was so confused, and Brittany kind of answered it in the notes. I was confused by the fact that Darius could hear them, even though there was a silencing bubble. Were you not confused about that, Christy? Because I was like, wait, what's the point of a silencing bubble if you can, like, work around it?
So, to be honest, I had opened this up to start typing and had moved up, and I had actually seen where you stated that. So before I read it, I had already seen Brittany's response.
Oh, I gotcha.
And so, that would have been confusing. Otherwise, I think it's a fair point.
That happens to me sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly Lionel's arrogance of, let me make this big silencing bubble instead of a tight one that I can know who's in it.
He's really so stupid.
He is. He's so arrogant. He makes so many stupid mistakes because of his arrogance.
He does.
I'll never look at lions again the same.
Oh,
And
I'm so sorry.
don't do that for Lion.
and he's totally Scar.
Yeah, like it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? He's got his 3 little nymph lackeys, the hyenas.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Oh, God. I told you that they were obsessed with The Lion King in another series. I'm just like...
I thought that was Little Mermaid.
Oh, my God.
The Lion King.
God. Wait, which series is that?
That's the Ruthless Boys one.
Okay.
Leon, the lion shifter, is obsessed with The Lion King. And
That's so funny, though.
yeah. Whenever one of them is in disguise, they even have like Disney tattoos all over them.
Did you say Disney?
Disney.
Tattoo? Oh my God.
And they have like the Lion King movie watching nights.
I do love The Lion King. I can't even hate on that.
Did they go to Broadway though and see the show?
Probably not, since they're in a different
Did you
world.
see the show, Christy?
No, I didn't, but I did see on YouTube they have
Christy loves
where
Broadway.
the cast was on a plane, and I don't know if it was delayed or something like that, but the whole fucking cast breaks into Circle of Life.
Wow.
I would have been crying on the plane if I was
awesome.
It's amazing.
Just sitting in the chair. Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
Yes.
I just so everyone knows, I have now successfully tricked at least 3 people into watching Has Been Hotel by not prefacing that it is a musical.
Oh, see, for me, you sold it as a musical. So I was like, hell yeah.
But for other people, I have to be like, I have to not say anything about it.
That is such a good show. Oh my God.
To be fair, people like it as long as they don't know that it's going to be a musical.
Oh.
It usually works.
Yeah, it's really good.
Just
Have
saying.
you watched it, Brittany?
I'm glad that you liked it.
I fucking loved it. Actually, Travis loved it.
I don't think Brittany's going to watch it.
Why?
Because I don't have a
I'm so glad you
TV.
guys left.
Do you have Prime?
Time to crowdfund Brittany's TV. Everybody listening currently, if you'd like to make a donation, just contact me personally.
I mean,
You can use your computer.
Yeah, use your computer, pull up Prime, and watch it on there. That's where it has been. It's so worth it. Although try not to laugh out loud while your parents are sleeping.
I am the has-been whisperer. Everyone must watch it. Anyways, I'm sorry. I derailed us.
so I was honestly surprised that Lionel readily told Darius about Orion being free and didn't make him earn it. It seems a little out of character, in my opinion, but I also love their relationship, their reunion, their bromance.
It's so
it's
funny.
wonderful.
I cannot believe, as I was listening to it, I was like, so the authors wrote like a gay relationship into this book. Like, it is weirdly platonic, but ignoring Seth and Caleb, like Darius and Orion have this really cute, like weirdly platonic gay relationship, and I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. There's a part of me that would love to see the two of them together. I still love Tory and Darius,
same.
but they're so fucking adorable. Can you imagine
100%.
like them decorating a house together?
Oh my God.
I just think they are so cute together. It's so funny. They were like, it's probably inevitable, right, that we're gonna cuddle and spoon, so we might as well just go ahead and do it. Like, okay, guys, just keep telling yourself that.
Who's going to be the big spoon? You know you're going to be the little spoon. Come on. What was it? I think it was Orion who was like, if only you didn't have that big dragon dick.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The way they talk to each other sometimes was priceless.
Ridiculous. Yes.
So before we start talking about Darcy and Seth's new relationship, Darcy puts
also obsessed.
Darcy puts up a silencing bubble to conceal the fact that they are in the same room together because of the king's new rules and whatnot. But quite honestly, like, I don't understand why people are going along with this. Kylie desperately wants to be with Seth. And according to the new rules, she's never allowed to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. And I know it makes sense in the world because there are people out there who will literally work against their own interest. But I just don't get it.
Fear, the perception that someone has all the power, and fear of having the spotlight turned on you. You'd rather join the crowd, even if it's somebody that wouldn't support you. I don't know.
What do you not get? I'm confused.
I don't get working against your own self-interest.
Kylie, because she wants to be with Seth, and she's actively, like, being a part of the cunts.
It's not even just Kylie. It's Marguerite. It's like Nova
Marguerite
was
as a
in
Sphinx.
Nova was in a relationship with Siren, and she's just like, okay, I throw my support in with you.
Yeah, I mean, it is really confusing, but I mean, like you said, there are people in real life who make choices that don't make a lot of sense logically for who they are as a person. Like, I can only assume that the reason they're doing that is because they think that they're sticking with the powerful side. I don't know.
Yeah, my brain.
It's just like women that will like willingly put themselves against other women because they perceive being desired by men or being a part of the patriarchal system as like more advantageous. And so they like willingly kind of undermine themselves in order to make themselves more powerful in a way and get what they want. But then in the long run, like down the road, that's how you get people who are like Karens and like at like the grocery store yelling at you because they can't control their own lives. Like they're unhappy and they're already stuck in a relationship where they're unhappy, stuff like that.
I do. I understand that it's a thing, and I understand that people do it. I just don't understand the mentality behind it. It just...
Me either.
Anyway, so Seth has clearly changed a whole lot, and he has basically become Darcy's bestie. And I will say at some points in this chapter, Darcy was a little hard to read, but Seth makes it all worth it.
He really does. I had to call Johan and just tell him this entire chapter. After I read it that day, I called him and I was like, I know you don't read these books, but you're about to know everything about this character. Seth is so funny.
Okay, I have to tell you a secret. I might have a crush on my best friend, and her little like, are you sure? Because you had a crush on a cookie. It was in the shape of a dick.
Was that this one or last one?
Was that this one or last one? I don't know.
I think that was the last one, because now we're at the part where he comes back and he's like, so remember about that crush I told you about? Yeah, me and Caleb fucked. And then she's like, what?
It's a Rosalie.
And he's like, okay, we didn't fuck, but also we did.
We had a girl between us, but really we were just eye fucking each other.
The dirty, dancing, hungry eyes. Meg was wrapping me up. Immediately, as soon as I read that, the song was just like in my head the whole rest of the chapter.
Oh, that was just the funniest. When he talks to her about the situation they had, and she's like, oh, I don't know if you guys... She's like, that doesn't really mean anything. And he's like, you don't understand, babe.
He's like, but we had a sandwich. No, Caleb, Seth. And so Gabriel takes Darcy and Seth to the secret tunnel that leads to the palace to see Orion and Darius. It can only be accessed by Darcy and Tory, since they have to have Vega blood in order to get in. And they surprise someone in bed. And then they make some plans for the future.
I have to say, so these few chapters with Seth, well, I guess this is still Darcy's chapter, but when they get there and he's like, why the fuck am I even here? It's just so funny in this chapter. It really makes the whole chapter even better to read, and it's already a good one.
Gabriel's like, you'll see.
He's like, why did I come? And Gabriel's like, oh, I can't say anything.
I love the fact that, like, Gabriel saw Orion beat the hell out of Seth, and he just laughs and he goes like, but if I tell you, it won't happen. He just like burst out laughing at some point.
When they walk in on them on the first time and they see Orion and Darius are spooning in the bed, and Seth just runs and jumps on the bed like, Darius!
It's like,
I just saw it so clearly in my head.
So they come up with a plan to free Tory, sort of. And Orion goes a little touch her and die on Seth.
Beautiful moment. I know that not everyone is pro Orion Darcy. However, I just think I love a jealous Orion. Thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Although I do think Orion would have done that for Tory too. I think he would be,
For sure.
not in the same way, blatantly, but I think he would be protective of her as well. I think he's just one of those, like, such loyalty that he will decimate himself to help anyone he cares about. And I think they now fall under that.
Do you think he would do that for Darius?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Definitely. That's his, like, I feel like that's like some sort of other kind of mate.
For Orion, you'll see he'll be like, okay, there's only like 4 people in this world that I care about, and that's Gabriel, Darcy, Tory, and Darius. I don't need anybody else. And then it'll be like, okay, maybe I'll add this person. Maybe I'll add this person too. It's like, no more.
He's so grumpy.
Yeah, I think, you know what, though? Actually, that's so even in the prison, he'll protect somebody he doesn't know if he thinks they can't protect themselves.
He's a good guy.
He is. Man. He really is.
Yep.
And I know you expressed some feelings about Lionel being in the Palace of Souls.
I was typing. It was going back and forth because I was like, I'm so pissed that is their house. That is not his house. And I don't understand how he can take it, but whatever. Anyways, he has. And at first I thought, great, because they've been exploring it. They're going to know all the nooks and crannies, but then he's probably explored it too. So, but then it switched again because blatantly the house is trying to keep him out, since only the royal blood can access certain things. So I guess this is the setup to where the house is going to maybe beat the shit out of Lionel. It'd be hilarious if, like, it could manifest itself, like take pots and pans and like hit him in the head or something. And
so go all Beauty and the Beast on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, no, it was funny because several episodes ago you asked, like, do we have a house that's alive? And I was like, maybe.
Not quite in the way of, like, with that guitar, not quite in the way of that one. I can't remember which book that was in, but
Silver Flames.
Oh, it was? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. For some reason I thought it happened earlier, but yeah, but still, I think it's going to be, hopefully it'll be a little bit fun and funny. Maybe it'll lock him in a bathroom after he's had diarrhea or something.
It's like, there are no more bathrooms available to you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Window closed. And it's stopping up now.
So the doors are locking themselves against him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got a new point of view this book. Geraldine.
Oh my God.
What did y'all think?
I absolutely loved the singing. I had to pause and cry laugh at work.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, the song was hilarious. The whole thing was fucking hilarious.
Right.
The secret ass meeting, the ass ramming. Ramming of the cunts.
When you opened up the episode with last we saw everyone, Darcy, the heirs, the ass, it's funny every time. Like, I'm a child, but why is it so funny? Ass ramming cunts. Oh, man.
Oh, my God. It's hard to, like, when they were getting invaded and it's supposed to be like a scary kind of thing, but she's so fucking hilarious to read. It's hard to take serious.
When Max comes in, or go ahead.
I was going to say, even the conversation she's having with Justin is supposed to be like serious. And she just refuses to have this conversation with him.
Oh my gosh, though, that we agreed to play the field. What field? And you can't tell the lawn that I have to stick to being watered by the hose. I need the gentle rain, the sprinkler. What about the bothersome barracuda?
And it's like, wait a minute. Those don't add up. Also, I pointed out that, like, Justin, whenever Geraldine is talking about Justin, she only uses bug words. You know how Max, she uses fish?
Yeah.
Justin is only bugs, if you notice. And I was like, he bugs her.
I never thought that. Everybody. That was a good catch.
Yeah. Now, I did want to point out the beauty that is Jerry writing the line between being so incredibly dirty-minded and yet proper lady. In your mind, you think of her as both, and you don't question it or anything. And I think that is just fucking awesome.
Very mindful, very demure. She is just like, Lady Petunia is, sowing her seeds.
Yeah, and then doesn't somebody at some point say the word vagina, and she's like,
yeah. She's like, I think it's Tory, maybe. I don't remember, but it's one of the twins, I think. And she's like, my lady.
we call it Lady Petunia. And her boobs are bouncing Betties, I think. What is it?
Which
Something
I think
like
is
that.
worse than just boobs. Oh, gosh.
And, of course, Seth and Max come riding in to save them.
At that point, I had been laughing for maybe 20 to 30 minutes because we ended from the Seth scene in Darcy's room, and then we went to meeting Orion and Darius. I'm still cracking up at Seth, and then we come to this and she's singing, and at that point I'm losing it because you know me, when I start giggling, I'm giggling for a while. And so at that point I had the giggles, and Max rides in on Seth's back like fucking Paul Revere, warning them that the cunts are coming.
Which I find hilarious that now that you made that comparison, I'm like, yes, that is so, like, perfect. Only these are two British authors, and the Brits are coming are the cunts.
Yeah. I know. I know. Oh, man.
Oh,
I know. I thought that was great. I was like, what would they know about Paul Revere? This is an accident, but it makes a lot of sense.
it does. It also reminded me of
Paul Revere is our hero.
When Umbridge catches Dumbledore's army and they all like try to sneak out the back.
Yeah. Because this is definitely Umbridge. And what is Umbridge's group called? I feel like they have a name.
I don't.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to look it up.
Sorry.
I think it's a squad.
Inquisitorial squad?
Yeah.
Yes. So the cunts are the Inquisitorial squad.
The irony.
I cannot believe that. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Of course, these authors came up with cunts.
It's not over. The naming of things.
I had no doubts. I will say, this is random, but they did slide this in there. Milton having a herd.
He doesn't have a herd yet. He got his nose ring, right. So that means he's allowed to make a herd now.
Right. I did not realize he was a Minotaur. Does that mean that now I am allowed to have a herd, considering I have a nose ring?
Where is my Milton's herd?
Absolutely not. No, I am the alpha here.
I'm pretty sure you could make Milton your submissive.
You're so right. You're so right about that.
So,
absolutely.
Lily the Taurus has a nose ring.
Yes. How funny.
I don't know if it counts in this series because sometimes they're like only men can do certain roles, but then you find out later in other groups in side stories that the women took over the roles and then like the men portray themselves as being the role, but it's really the woman.
Classic.
So maybe you could have a herd.
Perhaps, maybe.
Fuck the rules. Okay. You can have your herd.
Thank you. I didn't see myself as a minotaur, but I think that life just chose me. It just happened. Anyway.
I have a quick question that can be taken off the podcast. What is like a turd in a toilet?
Okay, I was wondering, I was like, that was somewhere in there that Jerry says. Like, and she's like a turd in a toilet, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, it's been like
I
2
remember
weeks.
her saying that. Where is that in the notes?
Yeah, it's the second to last, right above in chapter 13.
Like a turd in a toilet. Oh yeah. She says something like they're gonna push them out like a turd in the toilet or something.
That's right.
Yeah, she's like,
because the irony is she's making jokes about asses, but but she doesn't recognize that the ass club is the ass club. But she's making allusions to them being asses.
we will push them out like a wind.
Yeah, like we could look it up in the book to get an exact quote, but I remember listening to this part of the book and being like, is she aware? Is she not aware? Is she blissfully unaware? Or is she intentionally ignorant?
Part of me thinks she has to be intentionally ignorant.
I think so. She has to be. Like, I think at this point she's trolling everybody.
Oh my God. But yeah, there's some other part that she literally talks about the wind and forcing it out or something. And like literally talking about the digestive system.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I think we should leave that in, actually.
All right, so Lionel summons Darius and Xavier to the palace yet again because he can't help himself. Darius gets called Prince Darius by Shifty Fox Pecker, reporter person, and Darius really doesn't like it. Do you think that that's going to create some turbulence between him and the boys? The fact that he's now recognized as a prince, that if his father dies, technically he could take the throne by himself.
I feel like we're at a part in the story now where it's not, I can't see that being an issue because I think they recognize that Darius doesn't want that, if that makes sense. His goal was never to be the sole ruler, and I think that they trust him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Darius has a rather awkward conversation with his dad about Tory and babies.
Oh my God, I started losing my mind. I was like, babies? What the And then, what does he say to fucking Clara? I was actually taken farther aback when he basically says, you're useless, you're never going to be able to have a child. And I was like, oh my God. I actually felt bad for her.
Yeah, I did not.
I mean, I felt bad in theory for the woman that she could be. You know what I mean? Like, if someone said you're useless because you can't have a child.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lionel may live to regret those words.
Yay.
Oh, I would think so. I would not be saying shit like that to Clara's face.
He likes to think that he's more powerful than her, but no.
He's not, but at the same time, the guardian bond like gives some level of protection to him.
Yeah.
But you know what? Well, never mind. I was going to say, like, how far does the guardian bond really go? But I mean, we know it goes really far because she was like pining after him even in the shadow realm. So never mind.
She might like the pain now. Like,
well, I was just like, what if it's actually not the guardian bond and she's just fucking nuts like Stella?
That would be great. That would be awesome.
Like, what if it's actually not the guardian bond and this whole time she's just making a decision to act like this? You know what I mean? Like, she's using that to kind of manipulate him in a way, and therefore eventually she could just decide that she's done with his shit.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm imagining it now. That would be cool.
Oh, I'm just saying, I get a vibe.
So Lionel's saying that he would put bastards in Tory.
Disgusting.
Is so cringy. Like,
genuinely one of the worst lines in the book.
Like, I'm just going to say that I'll rape her and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
And there's so many issues with it because she's just like a baby maker. It's just so fucked.
I would like to meet these authors' parents.
Right? Like, are they okay?
Because this is some fucked up shit.
This is scary.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he wants to put babies in Tory makes Clara jealous.
So gross.
And
Clara would probably eat the babies.
He probably would. Right. So Lionel ends up holding a press conference to announce that he's forming nebular inquisition centers for Tiberian rats who are supposedly hoarding all these lucky rocks. He brings in Eugene Dipper, a character that appears in the Ruthless Boys series. So that's an Easter egg for anybody who's read her other series or their other series. And he is supposedly the king of the rats. He is not the king of the rats in that series. He is a wimpy little breathe wrong and he'll fall over character.
Oh,
And
I love that his last name is Dipper.
He's a little dipper.
It just reminds me of Gravity Falls.
Lionel uses this instance as a way to turn the mass population against the rats.
So this is what we were kind of alluding to earlier when we were talking about Scar.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to mention it, but I feel like you can't read this part of the book and not recognize that it's just very similar to kind of like what's going on in Harry Potter and what's going on in The Lion King. It kind of alludes to World War II, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very much like, let's blame one group, turn all that anger on them, and make them the scapegoat. It's very much like today, rich people make poor people angry at immigrants for coming in and stealing all their jobs and taking all their money when it's really the rich people who are taking their money.
Absolutely.
It's a sadly common tactic I think we can find throughout history.
Yeah, basically he's setting up a group for them to direct their fear and hate at while not paying attention to what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, just propaganda.
The line, if you are innocent, then there's no need for you to refuse the request to go to the Inquisition Center, really hit home in my life because I've heard so many people in my family and growing up, the circle that I was in, they'd be like, well, it shouldn't matter. Mm-hmm. If you have nothing to hide, then whatever. And it just
oversimplifies the situation.
Yeah.
If you're not guilty, then you shouldn't be worried about it. That's an oversimplification.
Yeah. And it's hard to now look at somebody who's hiding behind that line of, well, if they're innocent, then they wouldn't be hiding.
Right.
Does it make it difficult for you to read the book with those kind of parallels?
Not necessarily, because while I see the viewpoints, I'm in the mob. I'm not the one being targeted.
And you can recognize that.
It makes it harder for me to read whenever I feel like I've been through what other people have been through. Mm-hmm. But it's also just like the line itself where you're like, well, if you're innocent, you shouldn't be scared, is so gaslighty.
Yeah, it is.
And so here we got Lionel turning people on one small group of people. We got him gaslighting the mob. He's being Hitler.
Yep.
And we do also start to see Tory coming out a little, like the real Tory. She wraps her pinky around Darius when she feels that he is upset.
which is really cute and sweet, but also frustrating considering that later she's like still scared of him. That's the part of the book that I was getting frustrated with, like after Operation Tory succeeds, when she's still like having trouble not associating him with bad things. I'm like, okay, I get it, but also like you have your memories.
Yeah.
Before we get to the princess trap, let's talk about Max and Geraldine and Seth and Caleb. Geraldine lets it be known that she's in an arranged marriage, and so they are fighting right now. Max desperately wants for her to choose him, and the other heirs are feeling his pain. Seth, on the other hand, wants a sausage harem, and
we know what Seth wants.
do y'all think that Max knows what Seth is feeling about Caleb? Or do you think that Seth is smart enough to keep his shields up around Max?
No.
Nope. I think Max knows.
There are no boundaries or barriers for Seth.
Yes, I think Max knows a lot of things that he does not let up about. Like he doesn't tell anyone.
I mean, okay, so if you were a siren and you felt that your friend had feelings for your other friend, and if he felt Caleb's feelings, if Caleb had feelings, would you tell them?
That's meddlesome, and I don't see Max as very meddlesome.
Yeah.
But would you?
I 100% would meddle, absolutely. I'm just saying Max wouldn't. If I had that ability, yes.
Max may be going through a whole lot right now and may not.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've really explained it to the extent of how they can kind of file away those feelings if they've got a lot coming in, or if they kind of keep them at bay unless they allow them to come in. So he may have just never been opened up when,
That's true.
Seth was like.
That's true. I bet Seth is like projecting that feeling out though. Like if I'm being honest, like he probably sees Caleb and it's like radiating like hormones. Like
it's like see him and get hard.
Yeah.
They're going to be like in a battle and he's going to be like, ooh.
Isn't there a scene where Max kind of knowingly looks at them and is like, or he looks at Seth and is like, I know what's going on. Like,
I don't remember.
I missed it if there was.
I feel like I recalled it where it was like, okay, Max has an inkling about what's going on here, but I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Could be. It's been 2 weeks since we read.
It has been a hot minute, sadly.
Right. And so Darcy and the heirs have this plan in place to save Tory. So they think. They have this magical cage. They have the antidote. Tory's showing signs of herself. I love that she punches Mildred. Love it.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, can I just say that Mildred's dragon is fucking shitty brown. Like
shit brown.
Like Catalina is silver. Darius is gold. Lionel is emerald green. She gets shit fucking brown.
As she deserves.
She's an earth tone.
An earth tone. Do not talk shit on the earth like that, okay? That's rude.
Angelica is red.
Oh my god.
But what did y'all think about the plan, the execution, and the results of getting Tory?
I'm not gonna lie, I did not think that would work. I did not think it would work. I thought they would get close and then something would fuck it up. I was genuinely shocked that they even got as far as they did.
Yeah, I, again, I feel like the scenes like this are very compact. Like even like the court scene, very compact versus like the 10-page sex scene. It's fine, leave it in.
Well, it's like, it's like other shit is so drawn out. Like, like Tory, when Tory was going through the shadow issues, or when Darcy was whining about Orion being gone, or you know, like there's a lot of emphasis on things that are not like actionable. And then when stuff is happening, there's not a lot going on. Like there could be more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I expected a little more action, a little more back and forth, that moment when it breaks through. Yeah, it was just very like wrapped up. Like, okay, let's get past this to get to the next thing. But I did love the fact that within that chapter, that it's heartbreaking on the one hand, but on the other hand, Tory has a family that is willing to fight for her, that is willing to go through all of this shit for her. And I love that fact.
What about the part where she throws her powers at them, the shadow powers, and it rebounds on her? So they have to sit there and watch her hurt herself, too.
Yeah, not her brightest moment. Not a good moment. I also hated how she's not herself in this moment, but I hated how she tried to manipulate Caleb, like kind of use their friendship in a way that just was not fair. I mean, I'm not blaming Tory for it because I feel like she's not in her right mind, but at the same time, it was so hard to read.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I think they all understood that it wasn't really her.
Right.
And which I love that. I think that's where actually my comment came from about the whole family thing, because it's like they knew that they were willing to take it and they were willing to deal with it and keep pushing. And I love that for her.
I actually think that, like you said, the family dynamic that's come out of this book especially is the best part of the story so far, because we've really fucking suffered to get to this point.
Yeah, we have.
So much fucking stress.
Like their relationships now are so, I don't know, it's just really satisfying and beautiful to read.
Yes, because that was about as fucking stressful as like political shit.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like we are going through it. But the part with Max.
Yeah. So they give her the antidote and they learn that, yes, while she was dark coerced into having to say certain things and feel certain ways, it wasn't all dark coercion. And Max literally has to work through all of that with her, and he has to feel all of that with her, to the point where even at the end, he's like, I'm having a hard time not flinching at the sight of Darius.
Yeah.
That, like, so hard for me to read. Yeah. So hard. His
sacrifice or like work that he put in was like shocking, like intense.
And this is the moment in the story for me that when I was first reading it, I was like, okay, Max can do no wrong. From here on out, he can do no wrong.
Right?
He is forgiven for all the things.
And I think on this one, on Max's point of view, was where I formally requested to use my I fucking hate card on Vard instead of Darcy.
Yes.
You know, I'm certainly not maybe a cheerleader for Darcy, but there is a reprieve there where she is, you know.
Vard is the worst. You could almost make an argument that he's worse than Lionel.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Whatever happens to him better be brutal and slow and painful. And
it was so gross to read the memory about him. It was so awful. Like, I really hope he fucking suffers, dude.
Yeah. That whole, like, I've seen a future where I get to touch you all I want.
That's disgusting.
And we do learn that her dad is the one that took his eye.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
What is it with one-eyed characters? Why is that like a sign of like evil?
Sorry, I just went, ooh, Scar.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not Hanji.
I know. Hanji is not included. Hanji is not included in this. I said characters.
That is true. You've got Solus from Fourth Wing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Scar.
Is Scar one-eyed?
He's not one-eyed. He just got...
But, yeah. Like, one eye is kind of like... It's, like, metaphorically covered.
What other one-eyed characters are there?
There's Aemond from Game of Thrones. He is not a good guy. He's also who I almost named Hanji after. Which, Hanji is another one-eyed character, but Hanji is the bomb. Because Aemond's a cool character, even though he's evil, okay?
Oh, no. I think Hanji, and for the listeners, Hanji is my cat that Lily rescued. So he's a little one-eyed monster, and he is adorable and very sweet and not evil at all.
Not evil at all.
And the character that he is named after is also not evil. Great character from Attack on Titan. There's also Mad-Eye Moody is technically one-eyed, and he's also technically evil when we first meet him. Although, you know...
But he wasn't Mad-Eye Moody at the time. He was David Tennant in disguise.
Right.
Yep.
David Tennant. But anyway, there's something about having like a one-eyed character that's like...
Pirates?
Yeah, like signifies a dark side, I guess. Slade from Teen Titan. For my comic book fans.
Yeah, now Vard has that red eye, and he's a seer. So I think one of y'all brought up, like, how does he not see what's going on with Tory?
Yeah.
I think it's because, like, Gabriel says that he mainly gets visions focused on people like his family, Orion, people he loves. But who does Vard love?
Himself.
But
he still got to see other things, even for like Orion, knowing that he was the one that could read the diary. So there's got to be some way he's seeing, but it's just odd that he hasn't.
He saw enough to know that Orion had the journal and had to be alive to read it, but he doesn't see enough to know that Lionel's going to fuck up the Star Promise, or that what the book says, I guess. I don't know.
Do you think it's like an arrogance or a protective quality that he doesn't want to tell Lionel anything he doesn't want to hear, like that he may lose or that he's lost some sort of power, so he tells him what he thinks he wants to hear?
That's a good theory that I cannot confirm nor deny.
Okay, that's
fine. Interesting. Christy nailing it on the head, perhaps.
So where were we? We talked about Vard and his red eye and his evilness, and I really, really, really hope he suffers. I know I've asked this more than once in the past, but we've got Catalina, Xavier, Darius, and now Tory, who are four people who are still alive, who have suffered the most at Lionel's hands. Any change on who you thought or who you think might deserve the final kill for Lionel, now that you know what Tory went through?
Yeah, Tory is a strong contender.
And what about Vard, who has...
I'm going to go the opposite, though. What I would love to see, because I think most warriors, but most people like Lionel, like, they don't ever want to be minimized. They want grand stories. And so I'd fucking love for some child to, like, trip him and accidentally stab himself and kill him. Like, have it be so ridiculously laughable, you know?
I really want Darius to kill Lionel. I know that he has not technically suffered the most. I either want Darius or maybe Catalina would be cool, although I don't know how realistic that would be. I would love for Tory to kill Vard.
Yeah. I would love for Vard to just slowly get dissolved in a vat of acid while still alive. What is it?
Oh my God.
What is it that Taryn says about Varish? He's like, I'm going to digest you while still alive.
I would actually
That.
like for Vard to stay alive and be forced to work cleaning toilets with his tongue. Yes.
Interesting. Take out his other eye and then make him do toilets blind.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, God.
And it's a surprise as if it's been flushed or not.
Yep.
And we learned that Clara took Tory's necklace that Darius gave her.
Blown. I'm so blown for Tory. And
She's
that
gonna
kind
get
of
that shit back.
helps. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that kind of helps your theory that you think that was like grounding her, because when she took the necklace, that probably didn't help with the brainwashing.
Yeah. And I know Lily brought this up and you noted it, that Cyclops need to be monitored.
I'm not sure that I would like necessarily condone government regulation on a whole order, but I just know that if Cyclops were real people, I would be afraid of them. And I would be wary of them at all times.
Oh my God, I just had a thought.
What?
Dane's a fucking Cyclops.
Yeah, he is.
Oh God.
Bitch has got to be monitored. Cannot trust those hoes. I never trust someone who can look into my head. What are you doing in there? You know who else is a Cyclops? Rhysand.
I saw Brittany do it out of the corner. Both of us are like,
Rhys. You don't think that Rhys is a Cyclops?
Does he read memories?
He goes into people's heads.
He does, but so does Xaden. But they're not necessarily memory.
So? Does it have to be just memories?
I don't know.
I don't like the idea of anyone being in my head.
I don't like the idea of thinking about Rhys or Xaden as a Cyclops. So, my brain is telling me.
I don't know if Xaden counts.
Yes, there's a difference.
I don't know if Xaden counts because his is kind of a weird type of.
Yeah.
But Rhys can go into your mind and fuck with you. That's like, to me, very close.
That is true.
You guys looked so confused, and I was like, what do you not understand? What?
I hate that.
I thought for sure you would get it. I was like, what?
I hate that. Which
so
means
sorry.
Feyre also.
In theory. So is Edward Cullen, I guess.
Well, he just reads your mind. Wouldn't he be more like Xaden? Which,
but that, okay.
No comparison Edward to Xaden in my head. No. Bad Brittany,
this
bad
is what I'm
Mr. Sparkles.
No. This is what I'm saying is, to me, it's not just the ability to read your memories that is the problem. It's the ability to get in your head. I don't know if I count Xaden because he doesn't really look through your head like that.
But doesn't Edward just read your thoughts?
Yeah. That's also getting into your head.
But he doesn't manipulate them.
No, neither do Cyclopses.
Well, they do to Tory. He took all of the good memories and sort of
taints them. I guess so. But to me, Xaden has a weird, his is not the same. Like, he's not going in your head, but Edward is going in your head, in my mind.
All right, so because of the guardian bond, Tory has to go back and pretend like she isn't healing and isn't sort of back to herself. Any thoughts on how this might pan out? Do you think she'll be able to maintain the image that she's still under his control? Maybe finally become the spy that Christy thought she would be?
I'm not looking forward to this part, at least before when it was something she couldn't control. But damn, I bet it's going to be so much harder for her to, I mean, good in a way, because she can, get a behind the scenes look. But damn, it's going to suck.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it either because I don't see it going well or easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult to read, probably.
I think it'll be necessary because I think she's going to learn things she wouldn't have learned otherwise and be able to pass them on. But yeah, I think it's going to be, I'm really hoping they have some good breaks in there.
I agree.
All right. So at the end of Max's healing session, he ends up going back to his room and Jerry shows up and he's like, I can't even go over it with you right now. And she's like, I'm not here for my lady. I'm here for you. Such a beautiful moment.
Jerry, stop pretending that you don't care about him. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
So good. Although you had one issue.
I did have one issue, and it's my writing instincts, or I guess, I don't know. But in the span of a couple of paragraphs, she continues to write the same phrase that he says several times, that she eases the pain in my soul, eases the ache in my soul, eases this about my soul. And I was just like, can we please just rephrase it a little bit more?
Fucking Max.
I think the authors just needed an editor.
They did. And it only, when I don't remember reading, when I read it the first time, I don't remember it standing out. It only stood out this time. And it's probably because I was paying more attention. But it's just the, I don't know, perfectionist in me or something. Writer.
I guess I didn't
reader.
notice that you were pointing out the grammar because I thought you were pointing out that it has to do with soul connections.
And they might have a soul connection. That might be why they emphasized it so hard.
Right, yeah.
Oh, they do. Yeah. They're mates.
They have some kind of, yeah. They got something going on.
Yeah. They're Elysian mates. We will find out in the very last book.
Maybe, because I don't know.
Definitely. I know. I can feel it.
Only if Seth and Caleb can be mates will I then allow Max and Jerry to be mates.
Allow?
In my head.
I think
yeah.
Seth and Caleb, they've got to be mates of some sort.
I agree.
So you wouldn't mind if they weren't Elysian mates as long as they were mates of some kind?
Yeah, because Seth has to have a moon mate, so.
What about for Jerry and Max? If they were mates of some kind, does it have to be Elysian mates?
I don't want it to be Elysian mates. I take mine back.
Okay.
Because I feel like Elysian mates is forced upon you. And it's you must choose this person. And I want them to choose each other without any kind of outside force.
I think it'd be cute if they were Elysian mates. I think I'd be happy if it wasn't still, if it was a different kind.
All right. So with Tory faking the Fae flu to recover, Darcy goes to water elemental class, which is actually first class that we've had in a good minute, other than What's-Her-Face's class.
High spell.
Yeah. And we get a slightly different side to Washer. He's the same Washer, pervert ridiculous. But you see a little bit of a different side to him. He clearly does not agree with Lionel. What did y'all think? I think this is also where we find out that he and Nova broke up.
Yeah, so about the Washer thing, I immediately got concerned because now I think he's going to be set up as a kind of hero in a way, a little bit, at least on the good side.
Yeah. I think somehow we're going to end up liking him to an extent.
Unwillingly.
Oh my God.
I am glad he broke up with Nova. I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
Do you think that he'll make it out of the book? Or the series, I should say.
Unfortunately, yes.
I will take that bet. I think he's going to die at some point.
I think Washer is ironically in.
With who?
I think his little Willie
No,
is
I
going to
just
save
mean-
the twins at some point. I think he's going to be like, don't kill him.
No, I just think he's going to last till the end. Not with anyone, but just last till the end.
And they're going to have a little coffin for like his Speedo as well. Yeah.
I did say everyone gets a love interest.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So in this class, Angelica and Geraldine reveal that people are fighting back. They're getting the Tiberian rats to safety, and they're hiding them. And he thought, like, they're keeping a list of all the teachers that are pro Lionel and pro Vegas. Any thoughts on this fighting back, or?
Okay, so this was what I was talking about. I was laughing my ass off when she says the ants will unite and cast an unstoppable wind through this academy that will drive out the turds. Really, Jerry? Do you not see it?
Fart out the people.
Have you not been to basic science class?
I just can't.
They'll just fart all the evil people out of their bowels.
These authors are obsessed with farts. Like, there's so many instances of farts.
There is. I mean, the whole ass thing in general, and then you have the cunts and the whores and the other ones that are going to come up.
It's funny where their lines are drawn.
They're all revolved around the same area.
Now, I thought, Lily, you had equated this to, like, with Harry Potter, with Dumbledore's army, when they start fighting back.
Yeah, like, this is like the resistance. Like, they start to kind of develop Dumbledore's army. They start organizing. The Ass Club is, I don't remember if I was the first one who said it or if it was Brittany, but I think we all kind of said that that's what seems to be going on.
Yeah. I did particularly love the three siblings flying together. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, I hated that Lionel took away her love of flying whenever he had her under his control, and her being able to finally fly.
Yeah.
You also said, Christy, you hoped the rats were actually hoarding the rocks.
Oh, hell yeah. I hope they are actually hoarding the rocks and they will use it to fuck Lionel up.
Oh, yeah. I thought, okay, the part about the rocks is weird. The amethyst stones, that definitely has to be really important. Or at least I would assume that the amethyst stones are going to be important because they make the wearer lucky, right?
Supposedly
They make the wearer lucky. I'm just wondering what is going to be done with those.
Darius has a moment in there where he was like, nobody cares about those. Why is he making a big deal about that now? Like, yeah, it may bring some luck, but do they do what they really want? It's almost like in our world saying somebody was hoarding beach rocks but putting emphasis on something that they're doing. That's the way I read it, at least, except for in this world, the rocks that they're hoarding supposedly are rare.
Mm-hmm. It just makes me wonder, like, what is going to happen with those if they really do mean nothing.
We'll have to see what happens with those rocks if they come up again.
Yeah.
I mean, we do see later that Lionel is about to fixate on something else too, but we'll get to that later. So Tory is forced to still be Shadow Bitch Tory and sit with the cunts. And Mildred brings up this incident where her father caught and killed some escaping Tiberian rats. And feel Tory so much in that because she really wants to murder Mildred.
Yeah.
Mildred goes on and on about how she's going to be queen one day. And I don't understand why she's sucking up to Lionel. Because quite honestly, once she's queen, that would mean Lionel is dead. Lionel is never giving up that throne.
Right.
Not unless he's dead. So why isn't she sucking up to Darius?
Because Darius won't listen to her.
Yeah, that too. Any chance she's wanting to be an additional side piece for Lionel and somehow thinks that she could end up being his new queen? I don't know. I know you're not supposed to divorce there, but if Catalina dies.
You don't think Clara would want to be queen?
She's guardian, though.
She could still be queen.
Could she?
Mm-hmm. See, and in this world, it seems to me that the queen, the spouse, whatever, has no real power. They're just there. So why would you want to be queen?
Title? I don't know. Wealth?
Yeah. And she was, I mean, even from the first time we saw her, she was kind of bossing Darius around anyways. I get the feeling she seems to think that she's the decision maker.
Yeah, well, that's only because Darius can't speak out against her because of Lionel.
Yeah.
But once Lionel's gone,
she should marry Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Butkins.
Oh, how funny if she married Jenkins and she was there like Tory and Darius's housekeeper.
I don't think Tory would stand for that.
I bet she would. If she was having to like do like really crappy stuff, I think Tory would have a ball.
I think honestly, there's a group of people in this world whose literal job is to shovel Griffin shit off the ground. That's what I would assign her. That way she is literally got a shitty job.
Yeah.
And I don't have to see her. And I would forget to give her all the protective gear that she'd need to not get blistered.
And I should say, there is nothing wrong with being a housekeeper. So that in and of itself, it's just it would afford Tory the opportunity to torture Mildred. That was the punishment. So I just wanted to clarify.
Personally, I'd just put her in the dungeon and go torture her. Because God knows she is not going to be a good house cleaner.
No, she'd be terrible. No.
Oh, with Jenkins as a husband, though, he would expect it. How perfect he is about his floors. Come on. Do it again.
Do you think Jenkins would beat his wife if she didn't clean the boots correctly?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, Jenkins, I hope you die spectacularly. So Tory and Xavier have a moment in the bathroom, and he kind of gives her the strength to go on.
I'm sorry, that reads really weird.
They have a moment in the bathroom.
So that she can go on.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
So after the moment with Mildred, she races to the bathroom because she's having a hard time holding her feelings in. And Xavier comes in and he's like... Xavier comes in and he's like, oops, I thought this was the men's. And he like comforts her.
I'm sorry.
We can always count on Xavier to be in the wrong place at the right time. You know.
You have no idea how much.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Lord. Oh, he's just such a lovable little idiot. But this conversation between them is actually, like, so sweet. And I hate that she has to pretend at all. But he says to her, like, you know, like, essentially, like, you saved me. Like, you made, like, everything possible for me. And it's just really sweet.
Yeah, he's like, you saved my life. I owe you everything.
I was actually a little worried about her appetite, like, coming back. Would that not be kind of a giveaway? I know it sounded like she was trying to be careful, but
I think if for somebody paying attention, it very much could be.
But you don't think Mildred will?
I don't think they pay attention to her, what she's eating.
Okay.
I just think she's going to have a hard time, like, really hiding everything. It's just hard to pretend because the only reason she was acting a certain way is because she wasn't all there. So now that like more of her is present and aware, it's going to be hard for her to fake that. But I really missed her having like those moments with Darius on and off, you know? So I thought that the scene with him was really sweet.
I wonder though, like, as Shadow Bitch Tory, she punched Mildred and they never discuss it again. And they just go back to being like, yeah, so my father killed all these Siberian rats. And
yeah, I guess that was normal maybe.
Yeah, I think because she's controlled by Lionel. So she's an extension of him and they're not going to question her authority. I mean, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts? So when I first read this, I immediately thought that Hadley had a thing for Athena. What did you guys think? Also, if Caleb ends up with Seth, wouldn't it be kind of awkward if their brother and sister ended up together?
I mean, like, it's not unheard of, but it is a little awkward. I mean, as soon as we were introduced to Hadley and all of the other spares, like, it was obvious that he had a thing for Athena.
Yeah. I liked reading about the spares. They're a lot of fun.
They are fun to read. Like, they're goofy, like the heirs.
Their own.
I was about to say, it feels like it's kind of a setup for a series beyond or something. I don't know.
As far as I know, they don't have their own, but they should. I mean, Xavier gets plenty of time in this one.
As long as it's not a rehashing of what we've already read with the older siblings, then sure.
Yeah. Speaking of Xavier showing up at the wrong place, or right place, wrong time, he literally has the worst luck. He shows up in class, Professor Pyro forces a change on him, and he's standing in front of the whole class completely nude. Sophia's there. And personally feel like this was a little bit of a violation, a consent issue. Like, yes, I get it. The Pegasus are okay with some casual nudity, but do you really want to force that on somebody?
Yeah.
I mean, I swear the people, Fae, in this universe just have they don't seem to understand what, like, harassment is. Like, they don't have any conception of, like, bodily autonomy of any kind or privacy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just different, to put it nicely.
Yeah. And I feel like the authors got insanely drunk and wrote a lot of these scenes. Particularly the junk jazzles, like
the weird
thank you for bringing
crafting
it up.
Kink.
Oh my god,
the bedazzled
and bedazzled or whatever it's called.
It's too much. It's too much. Like, I was like, what is the point?
It wouldn't it hurt? I mean, what if you get a hair in there? Yeah. Again, having sex, would that not hurt the other person?
You know that would scratch like a bitch. You know that would scratch like a bitch.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a little...
Would it be like a piercing?
No, it would not be. No, it would not.
It sounded like it was up and down their junk. How does that work when it shrinks?
Oh my god. It sounded to me like the dijazzle is above the dick, and the vajazzle is also, like, above.
Like an entrance sign?
Yes, like a enter here arrow. Pointing down. Like the landing strip, but in bedazzled jewels.
Oh my god.
Like, that's great. Okay, you know what else? Like, I think Tyler, maybe it's Tyler's, whose dick is, like, described to have, like, one large gem, like, at the top, right?
Or, no, it's not Tyler's, but I know it's a different person. Because they're short, and he's like, his dick is winking at me.
Okay. So, if you're having sex with someone, let's think about this for a second. If he's having sex with someone and it's like missionary style, that gem is going to be like straight up like abrasion against your hoo-ha, possibly even the clit. That shit would hurt like a son of a bitch. All I'm saying is that doesn't seem very useful.
Do you think the horses are doing it missionary?
Sorry.
I'm not sure that I'd rather have the dick jazzle in my ass. I'm just saying it's one or the other.
You would probably end up with very decorative poo.
So yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know that they use a charm to make it stick.
But I hope so.
But what if something got lodged up there?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, poop it out. You have a bedazzled
Nothing
poop
is
ball.
foolproof. Nothing is foolproof. I would not trust the strongest glue spell in the world to make sure. Also, that's just got to be uncomfy. Like hard plastic, probably hard plastic with the edges. Like you've felt like those fake plastic gems. You know that's scratching like a bitch.
So Xavier is feeling like, am I supposed to do this? Do we think that he will?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we think that he'll do it? Do we think he'll do it well? I should say that.
No, I think he's going to drop those drawers and it's going to be a glitter bomb penis with some clouds mixed in and
The mirror ball penis. Just mirror ball by Taylor Swift starts playing in the background.
Oh my God.
But now the question is he going to start dancing to it?
Oh my, he would.
Is he going to be proud?
I think he would.
I don't know. Actually,
Very awkwardly.
God. We need a live action version.
Oh my God.
Is he going to be proud?
Yes.
I think that he's gonna dejazzle, but it's gonna be like very haphazardly done. Just like random gems everywhere, you know?
No crafting skill whatsoever.
Well, you know what? Maybe I take that back because we know that Xavier has some style with that backpack, the cloud backpack. I'm just saying maybe he does have a sense of style. Maybe he'll surprise us.
Gabriel's wife's brother developed that backpack, by the way.
So he may help him jump jazzle?
No, her brother is dead.
Oh, well then no.
Oh, no. Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
the whole premise of the Ruthless Boys is that her brother dies under mysterious circumstances, so she goes
Her brother's
to find
Danica.
Yeah. She goes into the school to find his killer, and all the men that she ends up with are her suspects.
I see.
And she ends up finding that he designed this Pego bag, and so
Terrible
her
name,
family,
by the way.
Yeah, her family puts it into production. So literally Gabriel could have given him one for free.
Do you guys remember when we talked about at the beginning of this series how Xavier being a Pegasus sometimes feels like an allusion to gay people? It does not help that the prefix for everything is peg. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
What if he and Tyler end up together?
I would die.
Leads us to our next question. What did y'all think about the interactions between Sophia, Xavier, and Tyler? Clearly, Tyler and Xavier have some headbutting going on.
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed with Sophia. I know that it's kind of her job to suss out who the dom is. However, I feel like she doesn't have to go, she doesn't have to do that. I just wish she wouldn't.
Yeah. It feels a little unnecessary. Like we don't Tyler and Sophia are fantastic together. You know, we can get Xavier with somebody that is good for him too. But yeah, I don't want to mess up the dynamic. Like, let's have a good dynamic.
Sophia and Xavier are cute, but if it's gonna come at the expense of Xavier having to fight Tyler, then it's like for her honor or some shit. It's like, is it really worth it?
Yeah. I see them as like Sophia and Xavier, kind of like Seth and Darcy.
I think it's funny how Xavier and Tyler are playing this like, yeah, we're bros, but there's also like that competitiveness to their relationship.
Yeah. It is a weird dynamic between them.
I wouldn't call it healthy at all.
No. It's kind of awkward to read.
A little bit. I feel like it just reminds me of, you know, just like you said, like a bad friendship. Like if someone is not really rooting for you to succeed at all times, or at least supporting you in a healthy way, then not a very good friend.
It's Mean Girls.
Yeah.
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 But I don't want them to make Tyler that way.
Me either.
So I like Tyler.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the part where Darius gets invited to this dinner.
She does.
So she visits Orion and is like, heads up, Gabriel said that both Darcy and I need to be in the palace tonight. So you're going to have a visitor, but I'm going to go to dinner first.
And she tells him to clean his act up. She's like, bro.
She hits him in the balls.
You look rough.
She's like, by the way, remember how I said if you hurt Darcy, I'm going to hit you in the balls? Guess what?
She keeps her word.
Ryan, come on now.
I know.
She keeps her word. I was dying at the fact that she was like, are you going to change?
Yeah.
Like,
your dinner is on your clothes, dude.
And he was like, what do you mean?
And them talking about how hot Darius is and comparing notes and
together.
That was so fucking hilarious.
The whole guardian bonding for them is great. They're like, I can't help but realize how perfect his scowl is. And Orion's like, his scowl? Just like, he doesn't smile, so... But yeah, the dinner is pretty awful too. Lionel mentions that Minotaurs and Sphinx are keeping this hidden library supposedly away from the population, and it's something that Vard has conveniently seen. And so it seems like he's going to go after Minotaurs and Sphinxes next.
Okay, can we just talk about how badass it is that the Minotaurs and the Sphinxes are the guardians of this knowledge? That is so fucking cool.
So you think this is a real thing that Vard saw and not something that Lionel's just made up, like potentially the rocks?
I don't know. It does sound fake, but I also think that it could be one of those things where it's an exaggeration. It's less that they're hiding it from people and more that this has been going on for a long time. There is a library that exists, that it has been agreed upon, and now he's framing it as they're keeping the information from us. You know what I mean? Kind of like the rats were hoarding all of those stones, quote unquote, but they're keeping the stones from us now. But it's like they weren't doing that. So that's what I feel like is going on with the Sphinxes and the Minotaur.
Yeah.
Is there any chance it could also be like Vard's own personal vendettas, like people that say no to him, and then he brings it in as like a vision? Like maybe he went to them for information and they said no, and so...
It's quite possible. Vard is a self-serving man.
Yeah. That is an interesting thought.
So Darius and Tory have a moment, and the stars punish them by having a waiter drop soup on them. And of course, it means punishment for the waiter or the server, whatever we want to call him. And Darius ends up taking that punishment.
Yeah, poor Darius. I mean, y'all knew that you can't touch. Come on now.
Right. That was my thing too. Why were they touching? You know.
Yeah.
Y'all should know better.
Right? Right. Come on.
And
Although poor Darius.
Tory,
Yeah.
at one point, thought that she was going to have to be the one to punish him.
I thought that was a smart guess. Because I started to get really freaked out too. But Darius kind of, what's the word? Like
Goads.
taunts Lionel.
Mhm.
Yeah. Until
Lionel
he
stabs
kind
him.
of fixes it.
Yeah.
Which is still not good. The stabbing.
Yeah. And of course, Orion comes in and tries to protect Darius, and Clara forces him to turn around and walk out using the shadows in Orion.
Yes.
So Tory ends up having to heal him, I think, and she also has to get rid of new dark coercion in Catalina.
One of the things that he said in here, and this kind of goes back to what you were talking about with Mildred, her being queen, and that being like why she would want to be. But in this part, I had forgotten about, I think it was Lionel that said something about with Mildred that once she's pregnant, Darius is no longer, he doesn't matter anymore. So
Yeah.
blatantly, Lionel thinks that Mildred is going to be.
But does Mildred matter either?
No, I think it's the kids that'll end up mattering. But I think in Mildred's, in her eyes, Darius is below her because she's the one that's going to produce the kids. But I
I
thought
don't know
that
if
was
he's below her.
Well, he'll be expendable first.
Right.
Is what it sounded like. That he wasn't really necessary other than that. But is that weird?
I think that Lionel views them all that way. Like, Mildred isn't necessary except for her dragon blood. And Darius isn't really necessary except for that he is Lionel's legacy. And if Darius produces a new child, then that can be Lionel's legacy because Darius didn't turn out the way that he wanted.
And it sounds like that's the plan anyways.
Yeah. But he'll also need somebody to raise the kid because he ain't changing any diapers.
Well, that would be Mildred.
And Clara's not going to do that shit.
Yeah.
It would be Stella.
It would be Stella. Oh my God.
It would be Stella.
Poor kid. Or Catalina. That's what she...
Yeah.
Which the mother's embrace, like Catalina being the mother that she has never had.
Made me so emotional.
Me too.
God, it made me just, my heart.
She's going to die, isn't she?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared she's going to die.
Yeah.
The relationship that Tory is developing with Darius and Orion and Catalina and Xavier, and it's just all kinds of beautiful.
It is.
It is until it's used against you as a reader and they break your heart.
Which they tend to do. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do y'all think is going to happen in the next couple of chapters? Any thoughts, theories, any hopes for what you want to see?
I think Tory's going to get found out, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I think things are going to shift, but I do think she won't be able to keep up this charade much longer.
What do you think the reason why she needs to be in the castle or in the palace that night with Darcy? What will happen there?
That's a good question.
Is that how she's going to get found out?
I mean, she's only had like one chapter dealing with Lionel.
Yeah.
Pretend. I think it'll last a little longer.
I don't know how that'll go because, I mean, if that's the case, then that means that everything we've seen up till now is not going to be nearly as bad as what it's going to be because she's still guardian bonded to him. And so if she is found out, then they're going to try to, I guess, redo all the other stuff to try to get her back under.
Right.
Or I don't know. And it's going to be even worse, which I really hope they don't because I do not want that dragged out.
Yeah, I think it will be a little while until she's found out, but I do think it's going to happen by the end of the book, is my theory. Which I guess we have, let's see, what part is this?
Part 2.
3? Okay, so we probably have many more parts before she's found out. But I think it's going to happen before the end of the book. And I have no idea what they're doing in the castle.
Any hopes for the next couple of chapters?
I would really like her and Darius to connect more.
Yeah, I would like to see more with her and Darius. I would like to see Max and Jerry like solidify their relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
And kind of really see that kind of resistance coming together and
yes.
Start some action. Yeah, like start some action. Get some fights going, get some wins in, fuck with them a little bit.
I'd love to see more of other characters. Like we're now seeing more of Geraldine. We're now seeing more of Xavier. I'd love to see some other characters included as well.
I think we get several Darcy points of view in the next one. Some Orion, some Tory, a Seth one.
Which I now look forward to.
Yeah. My favorite POV.
And I think another Geraldine one, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But
all right, well, shall I close us out? Okay. Then I guess we'll end there with some high hopes for the next section. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. Next episode, we will be discussing Book 6, Fated Throne, chapters 21 through 32. New episodes drop, hopefully, every week.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.